Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Jordan Frye on the Buy My Merch podcast. Jordan, welcome.
Hi,
I'm
Marilyn.
so honored to have you at my bird sanctuary here today.
Yeah, I can hear him.
We're talking about how we're at a lovely Airbnb filming this, and there are just birds in every corner. Like, could they be inside? We don't know.
I thought it was going to maybe be filmed outside, which could be interesting too.
Maybe we like half and half it. Like, they just sort of slowly, all of a sudden, without explanation, the interview just gets more outside.
Like if I just start to bomb, we could spice it up.
Like the tree starts like cutting into the actual
yeah.
scene. Well, as much as I want to get into our botany conversation about all things birds and plants, there is so much fun stuff to talk to you about. I wanted to start by talking about your getting started in the industry as a songwriter a little bit. So you have some fantastic solo work that has come out recently, but I want to hear how you got started in the biz back in the day.
I mean, I started writing when I was a little kid. I was about 10 years old and just writing my own songs. The first concert I ever went to was a James Taylor concert.
Ooh.
My dad took me, I think it was maybe at the Hollywood Bowl. So pretty epic. The stage was set, and I remember seeing him and being like, I want to do that. I think I'm supposed to do that. I can do that. So
what were some of the artists that you were writing with early on, and what were some of those projects like?
As I developed in my career, I started opening for other artists, and I began my songwriting career sort of writing for them either on the bus or backstage. I was always in the support slot on tour, but there's always so much time on tour. So I had my laptop, and I always felt like a songwriter first more than a performer. Like I said, I've been writing since I was 10 and wrote songs all through high school and wrote songs all through college. And my grades plummeted in college because I was just writing songs in class. So I did make it out alive. I did graduate. But yeah, I felt like the writing was always something that I was able to offer other artists. And that just always came naturally to me.
Ooh. What do you like? Like, if you had to put it into words, what do you like the most about collaborating with another artist on something that you're making together?
Well, I mean, I really love kind of crawling under the skin of the person that I'm working with and understanding what makes them tick, what they love, maybe a story they haven't told, and then kind of giving language to that. A lot of times an artist doesn't really know what to say, so you have to oftentimes have an hour and a half just chat about life, getting to know them. Like if you meet an artist for the first time, you can't just start writing a song. You have to learn. And then in that learning process, I'm sort of taking like mental notes. Okay, interesting. Maybe it's a word that they'll say in that whole hour that will spark an idea for a song. Then I'll be like, well, what about this? And I just love that process.
So it's common for an artist to come to you and just say, it's a really bad breakup. I just want to write about a bad breakup. I have no idea where to start. Where do you like guide that session?
In that session, we'll go there and we'll work on that. Like if an artist has an idea of what they want to say, we do that. Because I feel like that's my job, is to support and serve kind of what they're going through. But believe it or not, I would say most of the time an artist comes in and doesn't know what to say. And it's at that time where I'm sort of bringing my own story, my own life, all my experiences, and I'm channeling it through them, like voyeuristically or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and through this process too, what ended up coming out of it was a beautiful solo project too, right? So you did a lot of this work early on.
Yeah.
But you now have a fantastic new album, Daydreaming, that came out.
Thank you.
Which was such a fun listen, you guys. Absolutely need to. Everything I was reading actually in prep for this interview, how you describe the album and sort of what inspired you, and it's all just, it just sings very well together, pun intended. But I just want to ask, like, at what point did you start to realize you wanted to have that solo expression as your own artist?
That's a good question. I mean, if I'm being totally honest, writing and producing for other artists was paying the bills. So obviously, year after year after year, that's what I'm going to give all my attention to. So most of my streaming and just any kind of like income has come through other artists. And it just got to this point recently where I was like, man, I'm sort of giving not my life away, but I'm giving all these experiences that I'm having to other people, and it's working. I wonder if I could just own that. I think there was some fear there too of like, can I support myself as an artist on my own? And you know, I definitely I released my first record in 2022. It's called Beautiful Wasteland. It was very introspective, and it was sort of the beginning of this like transition period in my life,
Yeah.
like contemplative, reflective, kind of dark night of the soul. And last year, I had been through so much in my life. I just felt really free and released this song called Wildflower. And it went on New Music Friday. It went to the radio. It was on BBC Radio 1. It was on Sirius XM. Like all these things started happening naturally with it. And that was 12 months ago. And the rest is history. I'm just like, okay, this is special. And I need to pay attention to this and not take this for granted.
Absolutely. Do you think it's possible to strike a balance between producing for other artists and maintaining your own project? Producing or songwriting, I should say.
I mean, again, to be honest, I have to. Like, I still cannot fully support myself on my own art, my own songs. They don't generate enough income yet for me to pay all my bills and provide for my family. So it's like 50-50 for
Yeah.
me. So half of my life is focused on not my clients. That's so brutal. It's not the way I see it. But
Oof.
when I'm
The government does.
when I'm thinking about my business and those bills that need to be paid, yes, 50% is I'm thinking about them, setting aside time in my schedule for them, preemptively writing for them. And then also now it's like I have this part of my mind where I'm like, I have to say no because I have to carve out time for my own art.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
You have to do it. It's an expression. It's part of the expression. Also, it's part of what makes you great at producing and songwriting for others. Well, there's a really fun tangent when I look further into your career, and you are currently signed to a label called Lauretta Records,
Yeah.
which has this incredible roster, also worth checking out. But the founder of this label, Katrina Frye, is your partner.
Yes.
And how I just have to ask all of the things.
Please.
But I think the biggest thing is like, what is that like?
Mm.
Like you got in every way. There's collaboration that it just explodes into all parts of what I'm sure is a really creative relationship.
Okay. So yeah, it's a big question. I would say the simple answer to the question is in terms of what it's like working with your partner on creative endeavors, especially a record label. For me, it's literally like just this natural extension of our relationship. Like we actually named the record label Lauretta Records based on the street that we moved into, the house that we first moved in together. The street was called Lauretta.
Oh.
And that was 15 years ago. And, she has seen me be on the road for 10 years. She's seen me have this whole songwriting career for other people. She's watched me become a producer and then work heavily in TV and film. And now basically come full circle and start to be a solo artist. So there's nothing new under the sun for her. And it's just always what we've done. She's low-key managed most of my career. And I'd be lying to say if there wasn't massive points of contention and arguments and frustrations. But we've been like sort of just doing music together this whole time. So
Wow.
it's pretty beautiful. I think it's our legacy. I think it's the thing that will be remembered for in the industry.
Oh, that's cool. What are some of the things that a label does for you? And you can use daydreaming as an example, but
Yeah.
what does a label of any size do in support of an artist putting music out?
There's a lot. A label does a lot. I will say our label actually flips the splits. So a traditional label is going to take the lion's share of the master. 80 to 90, sometimes a 95% of the master. And we just saw like a kind of a gap in the marketplace. Actually, we just saw more of our friends not being able to sustain their own careers through making art, like because the industry is so difficult and things are so challenging to sustain yourself as an artist
Yeah.
right now. We basically wanted to create a model that could be more sustainable. So a higher focus on TV and film, flipping the splits between label and artist. Now it's like the artist gets the lion's share, the label just takes a little bit. And it's really more of a support role. We tried to find like every single person on the roster a licensing partner. So we work with like 7 or 8 different licensing companies, and it's been incredible. Like some of our artists have seen 15, 20 of their songs be on, 15, 20 different placements on TV, and that kind of income can really, really help. One of our artists is a hairdresser, another is a school teacher. Like that kind of money helps, and it helps them designate more time to doing their craft rather than having to go back to work. It's a catch-22 because it's so hard to make a living. So yeah, that was sort of the impetus of what we do and why we do it. Obviously there's like label services and all that stuff. It's kind of boring to me, but the main focus and what I love to talk about is just sort of like the shared equity and
Yeah.
the fairness of what we get to offer some of these artists in LA.
Do you think that sort of the smaller indie label is the future of record labels in a successful music industry?
I mean, I think with social media, with TikTok, with this immediate access to the world, we have some pretty powerful and, should I say, absolutely free tools at our disposal. So first of all, artists already can be doing that on their own without a record label and without an indie record label. I think an indie record label can come and help and augment what they're doing in terms of all the asset creations and the PRO and just making sure like their business is running, their publishing, even sometimes acting as a manager, they're getting proper photos in place. There's just so much that needs to be done that, I think that's where I think if an artist wants to take their career more seriously, they probably should look into partnering with something like an indie record label.
So you actually got to record your latest album, Daydreaming, at the historic Boulevard Recording Studios here in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Where the Rumors album was actually mixed,
Yeah.
which is very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Why did you choose that spot? How did that come about?
My guitar player, Brandon, he's way cooler than me. He plays guitar for Lord Huron.
Oh.
He played for the Wallflowers.
I love the Wallflowers.
Me too. I could go on and on about his resume. I think he recorded guitars on that new Bob Dylan movie. What's the movie called?
Complete Unknown.
A Complete Unknown. Track guitars, like for the Dylan. Like he's just like one of the best people and also one of the best guitar players in LA.
Yeah.
He's really good friends with Clay Blair, who runs the Boulevard. So yeah, he hit him up and it was like, hey, I'm working with this new artist. We have 5 songs. Would you be willing to let us crash your studio for the day and just film everything and do these live takeaway videos? And it was like one of the best days of my career, man. It was really cool.
Wow. And did you do visual storytelling there too, or just recorded?
We rehearsed and learned the songs, all 5 songs that morning for the first time.
Whoa.
And we filmed everything. We recorded each song 3 times, filmed it. And then
oh God.
I think it was like 9 to 9.
Okay.
Yeah, we just crashed at the end of it. And it was just the best. It was the best day. I was just like on adrenaline the whole day.
It's such a cool looking studio too. One of my friends is recording there this week. It's got like yellow checkered floors. It's very retro, like sunny LA studio.
Yes, it is.
Well, I actually kind of had having you be a songwriter and a solo artist, there's a question I always like to ask someone who's written successful songs. When you start writing an album or starting to put out new music of any kind, there's this pressure around the hit single, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
especially if there's a larger label involved, it's that we want to make sure one or two of these has that big hit single sound.
Yeah.
Um, does that ever get in your head as a songwriter? Like, I want to make sure in a body of work that this, like, can you just like manufacture a hit when that pressure is around a session?
I'm obsessed with writing the biggest, best songs I possibly can. I mean, I literally can't afford art for art's sake, mediocre songs. Like, I would love to live a life where just like every song that I write, I put out. I just can't do that.
Yeah.
So I worked on this record for 2 years, and Daydreaming is the culmination of like the best of the best of the best that I know how to do. And now it's, now it's old, and I'm working on the new record. But
That's right.
at that time, for this period of my life, the fire to write those big songs, those singles, yes. For me, I know it might not be the most indie, cool, hip thing to say, but I am single focused. Like we waterfalled in 2025, I think 4 singles before the record came out. So it was Wildflower, Magic, which also was on the radio. Like,
Yeah.
it just was back to back sort of success stories. Released a song called Spaceman, which I personally love, but didn't really do anything. But I'm obsessed with it, especially now that we're like looping around the moon.
Yeah. As we're recording this, Artemis II is headed back. Go Artemis II.
Can we please get Spaceman to Artemis II?
Yeah.
Can
Hey,
you
did
guys
see that they were doing like the morning wake up songs? Which of the songs from Daydreaming would you want as like the Artemis II wake up song?
Well, it would be Spaceman.
It would be Space.
Oh my gosh. It would just be like, again, I don't know if you have connections to NASA.
I wish,
Okay.
but
Okay.
just a big fan over here.
Like, there are a lot of records that have come out, and I don't know what the main single is. And I think that's a miss. And I think that's people's attention spans are so short. As much as I love and have my opinions about a full-length record and will probably die on that hill personally, I know that the marketplace needs like a single. And so I do think about it in that way, and I do lean into it.
I want to ask you too. You talked about waterfalling singles.
Yeah.
It's actually a strategy of releasing songs. Can you just explain what a waterfall release strategy is?
Well, so the opposite of a waterfall would just be in terms of like, it would just be releasing your record. Hey, everybody, this is my album. Check it out. And I spent a year basically like, here's a single, my best single, music video, like just putting all my time and energy into the production of the song, like making sure, like, I don't know, it was competitive. And then I did that 4 times before the 5th single, which was Daydreaming, which was the title track. So all of that is very intentional. And I'm sort of like maybe giving away too much of like what goes on inside my head, but at the same time, maybe it could help somebody because it really was effective.
Yeah, I bring it up because it's extremely common now, but like in a great way. There's a lot of unique approaches to a waterfall.
Yeah.
And I'm curious too. So in a waterfall strategy, it's sort of spacing out different singles. How does the content, the social media piece, factor into that?
I think it just allows you to focus on each piece. Like right now that the record's out, my brain is a little scattered of like, what song should I promote today? Because there's 11 tracks on the album. So I think there's an advantage when it comes to social media to just focusing on one thing. But what it means is you have to have that one thing be fantastic. It can't just be like meh. Like I've even noticed like it's really nice when somebody like hates or dislikes your song a lot because it means they have like a strong opinion about it. Like if you put out your music and there's no like opinions, that's brutal. Like you want that, like, I have an opinion about this. Like I was looking at all these comments on my song called Wildflower on YouTube before I came here, because I hadn't looked at it in a while and I want to see what people say. It is
Oh God.
so split down the middle.
Okay.
I mean,
What are they saying?
well, some people are like, perfect California day. This is like giving me all the feels. I love this song. The next one's like, take this song off the radio. If I hear Wildflower one more time, like, it's so funny to me. But I kind of like, I like people with opinions about the music because it means they're listening. That person actually had to go on YouTube and find the song and take the time to comment about it. It means he sort of like loves to hate it. I don't know. It's interesting to me.
And so I mean it's absolutely true. And I want to skip ahead because you're bringing up something that I always like to talk to my California natives about.
Okay.
So you mentioned that, and I felt this way too, that listening to Daydreaming, I know you're laughing about it, but like it's a really, in my mind, it feels like a California listen. And I love that.
Yes.
And you grew up in Ventura, and I want to
Yeah.
ask about the California sound.
Mm.
So a lot of people jump right into Beach Boys territory. If we're going sort of old school a little bit,
Right.
it's that surf sound. It's all these different things.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, when writing Daydreaming or writing in general, what defines the California sound that sort of famously has a lot of connotations now?
It's such a good question. The first thing that I think about is sort of that Laurel Canyon scene from the 60s and 70s. You have Joni Mitchell. You have James Taylor, who was my first concert. You have Fleetwood Mac. You have a little Dylan creeping in. You have Beach Boys. You know, there was a scene, but I think what people forget is that was pop. That was pop at the time. It was so pop that it was all over the radio. Like number ones were coming out of that time. And so now it sounds like throwback folk or something. I don't know, kind of like that old school sound. But at the time, it was the number one sound. And I think that sound kind of carried its way even through the 90s. You have like Sublime, for example, coming out of Long Beach. You know, you might think that that's just like a band, but it's really carrying on that legacy of the California spirit from those singer-songwriters. Like, early in the morning, rising to my feet, I light me up that cigarette and I strap shoes on my feet. Got to find a reason things went wrong. Got to find a reason why my money's all gone. You know, that's the same spirit as like, well, I'm free falling. I mean, it's like the same thing.
It is. Tell me a little bit about some of the memories you have of the music scene in California around the time of your upbringing.
Oh my gosh. It's funny. Like I went to high school with Anderson .Paak.
Okay.
Used to jam
out in Oxnard
with Brandon. We actually went to Foothill Technology High School and in Ventura. And yeah, like some of my earliest memories at least in high school are just jamming. Like we would jam in his house and it was just normal. And he's obviously skyrocketed to like the upper atmosphere of stardom, as he should, because he's always been the same dude. He's always been like the most talented guy. I mean, he got voted like class clown or funniest in our like yearbook that year. And he's so funny. But yeah, that comes to mind. Just like playing music with him was pretty cool.
What were some of the live venues and shows like? Ventura has a couple really cool music venues.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were still in high school. I remember like playing in youth group was a big deal. You know, obviously the songs, you didn't get to play whatever songs you want, but that was sort of a built-in audience. So that was sort of like its own scene growing up at Ventura, and definitely like trying out new songs, singing in front of people. You had a captivated audience because they couldn't go anywhere. Everyone's there. So it was a good like testing ground.
Oh yeah. I personally, I actually love Ventura.
Yeah.
And when I lived here, I spent a lot of time, would take weekend trips up there just because I loved, it's like this little perfect little town
Yeah.
with the little downtown right out on that pier.
Yeah.
And my first Warp Tour actually was in Ventura.
Oh, nice.
But it was in like 2019, many,
Yeah.
many years after
Yeah,
Warp
yeah,
Tour
yeah.
started.
We love a Warp Tour.
I also wanna, speaking of the nostalgic Warp Tour, tell me, you talk a lot about your own relationship with nostalgia specifically. So I want to ask you, like, is nostalgia actually something that's an ingredient we add to music? Is it something that can be described and bottled? What does it mean for you to have music be nostalgic?
I think to me, nostalgic is when you hear something or you see something or you smell something and it involuntarily reminds you of something old or something from your past, and you can't really identify it. Oftentimes it's totally intangible. So for me, in a song, I have like 2.5, 3 minutes to take somebody to a place, and I want to take them to a familiar place. Maybe they've walked on the beach before and it was a memory that they've had. And so if I'm saying like, you're my California dream 1975, maybe they don't know 1975, but they know what that feels like. They know what that combination of words feels like. And maybe it's a ripped t-shirt that they remember wearing, or I think at that moment, your song is successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk vinyl with you, Jordan. You for Daydreaming, the latest album, it did
Yeah.
come out on vinyl. Tell me what goes into the decision making for printing on vinyl and why you wanted to do it.
Well, I have something for you.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Presents?
That's for you.
I'm gonna make you sign it. Oh my gosh. Look at that. I always say when I hold the vinyl on the podcast, it's like a talk show, which I love.
It sort of is this is.
Tell me about
I feel
it.
super special on your talk show. I love
Tell
it.
me about it while I'm holding it here.
So like I said, it took 2 years to make. Everything involved with this is human made. Meaning that like not only all the songwriting and the mixing and the mastering, the production, the musicians, but even down to like my graphic designer and Anna who took this photo.
Yes.
She Laura even designed this font type. So this is like an original font type that she made just for this. And so
cool.
everything is just so special to me, and it's exactly sort of what I hoped it would be. This is my first time printing vinyl.
What was that process like?
It was scary. It's an investment, and you don't know if you're going to sell them all. And yeah, it's a huge gamble on yourself. That's why I've never done it, because it's expensive. And yeah, there's like a huge risk in hitting that send button and putting it on the card and paying for it. But it was just something that I felt like I really wanted to do, because I believe in this record so much, but also I wanted to keep it like in this age of empire.
Yes.
The digital age of empire. I just really wanted to have something that I could put my stake in the ground and be like, I made this when. It just feels real to me. For some reason, it wasn't going to be real until I printed it on vinyl.
When you're coming up with, and this really, it's of course the music, but it's also merch really in this day and age.
Yeah.
In some ways, when you're coming up with merch, do you think of things like saleability and what the audience wants, or are you feeling now you just want to make cool stuff that you hope they'd love to?
I definitely think like I don't have it printed out, but like I would love to show you maybe after the show or somehow like all the merch that my graphic designer Nolan, I've worked with him for 10 years, Nolan Sisk. He's sort of made mock-ups of like all these cool designs for sweatshirts and t-shirts and beanies and guitar picks, and I would love to get your feedback on it. Like,
oh, yeah, of course.
For me, it's sort of like I don't want to go down that route until it like resonates with people. So I'm sort of testing it out first.
That's really smart. So you've got the mock-ups and you're going to maybe ask around
Yeah.
just people like, what do you think?
Yeah.
I love that. And this is a really fantastic, again, I do know the photographer who shot.
Yes.
So exciting. I'm going to make you sign that.
All right.
What are some of the things you want to improve with your content game?
I mean, one of the things I'm on a learning curve, and I'm going to date myself, but I remember when Instagram came out. And
I mean, I do too.
you know,
It wasn't cool at first. This is what I want. I just have
it
to
was
tangent
cool.
for
No,
Gen
it was
Z.
cool. It was way cooler than it is now.
Twitter was I remember Twitter being like the cool one, and everyone's like Instagram. Like I just post all that on Facebook.
I miss
that.
the old school days where it was like a photo and some horrible filter, and it was just for your homies, and that's what it was. So I've been on a journey.
Okay.
A social media journey, and now I mean, I think 5 years ago, maybe even a couple years ago, I would view and think of my social media as like more of a website, like a landing page. Like if somebody comes and discovers me, I want this to be curated and beautiful, and I think I'll always still feel that way, but now I'm learning that really no one's going to hear my music unless I really put myself out there and engage in new ways. Actually, my own followers won't even hear and see what I'm doing unless I engage in new ways. So long answer short, I'm learning to make more content that might be more interesting to people who've never heard me and might be, I don't know, eye-catching to them. So for example, I did the cringe thing this morning of posting about a song. It's called Feel It All, and it was used on Love is Blind Season 2, Episode 2. And
I saw that video. That was not cringe in any way.
I've never, you know.
It really wasn't.
You know, I appreciate, well, see, this is my point. I don't think people care as much as the artist cares. The artist, at least, you know, we're so precious. And you're making my point that I think the more I lean into just like posting about maybe stuff without so much heaviness around it, I think people might connect to it more. There we go.
It's we sort of call it in the biz the iPhone no makeup rule of just like having an idea, you're brushing your teeth, and you're just like talking to the camera and you post it.
It hurts to hear you say it. Honestly, I'm like, oh God. But I ultimately want people to hear my music. So that's my MO. I'm like, I just want people to hear the music. So if I can tie it back to the song, my music in any way, then that's a win for me.
Tell me because I kind of consider this a version of social media. What's your relationship right now with Bandcamp?
Bandcamp is awesome.
It's one of the OGs too.
It is an OG, and I stopped using it for a long period of time, and now I'm back. I still have my same email account tied to my Bandcamp.
That's so cool.
Yeah. No, it's I mainly love it as a distributor for the vinyl. I'm still going to the post office myself, and I'm packaging. If you look at my social media account, you're gonna see endless videos of me like packaging vinyl and going to the post office and talking to the mailman or the mailwoman helping me. This is just my life, but Bandcamp is such a great way to connect and get that media. So yeah, I love them in there.
It's primarily where you sell your merch right now.
Yeah, they're fair. Yeah, it's where I'm going to sell my merch.
Love that. Okay, well, Jordan, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For being on the Buy My Merch podcast.
Yeah.
I have to leave us on the note of what is coming next for you. What can people look forward to?
I'm always writing. I'm working on the new record because I've been sitting with this one for a little over 2 years. So I love her, but we need,
it's time.
Yeah. And then my management is currently pitching me to a ton of different bands, for like a support role, either for the summer and definitely for the fall. So trying to hop on a tour.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
And where can people find you?
You can find me on TikTok, Jordan Frye Official. You can find me on Instagram, Jordan Frye Official. And you can find me on my website, jordanfrye.com.
And he'll be posting more. He'll be more vulnerable on those socials, so you're going to want to follow.
He will be, actually.
Jordan, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really fun having you on the pod.